How's it going, everybody? My name is Faze Crypto. Welcome to another episode of Crypto Clout, and I think that this is going to be the last video I make about Digibyte for 2018. So this is going to be an appropriate time for me to give my 2019 predictions, analysis, for lack of a better word. And first of all, I just want to say, hats off to everybody. Congratulations to everybody who's been sticking with Digibyte for day one. I know they're pretty much an ancient cryptocurrency at this point. Being around for 4 years is pretty unheard of for an altcoin. And I want to basically say in 2019, 2020, my prediction is going to be that we're going to see hundreds and hundreds of altcoins going to zero, getting wiped off the map, forgotten about, and just delegated to the pages of history for good, and people will be moving on to bigger and better things. But there's good news. I don't think Digibyte will be forgotten. I think Digibyte will prosper. The fact of the matter is that Digibyte's got a strong blockchain. Real use cases in 2019 will make Digibyte visible to the people who are just now coming into cryptocurrency. I think the reputation that Digibyte has built for itself up until this point is going to be really essential in giving Digibyte a much needed basically place to hang its hat on its accomplishments, where a lot of these other altcoins are going to suffer and flounder with their high-minded ambitions and not much to show for it. And Digibyte has this opportunity to set itself apart from the crowd, which I think is really something that I have to give Digibyte credit for. So Digibyte looks like it's going to end 2018 at 1 cent, and that's a pretty high price for Digibyte. I mean, it's kind of interesting for obviously people probably prefer to fill up their bags of Digibyte when it's a little bit cheaper. Digibyte's sort of probably going to drop below 1 cent in the beginning, or if not middle of 2019, of course, depending on the overall market. Now, of course, we also have to dedicate the beginning of this video to giving Digibyte credit where credit is due. It's pretty much should be called grandfather Digibyte. The fact that it's been around for moving towards about 5 years, we're going to be seeing the fact that Digibyte's been around for this long should tell you something. I think that the fact that Digibyte spread so far around the world, and it's actually being used. This is something that a lot of altcoins can't say, and I even would go as far as to say that in the top position, in the top 40 cryptos, Digibyte's certainly one that stands out just because of its track record, and what it aims to do in the future is certainly an indication of the team that's working on Digibyte. And when I look at a crypto, I always make sure to do probably 50% of the research goes into the team that's working on it, and then about the other 50% goes into the technology itself. So the team really is important in these things. So when we look forward into 2019, my theory is that we're going to see Bitcoin probably get worse before it gets better. I don't think that we've seen the bottom yet. I don't think we're anywhere near the bottom. I think things are probably, they're going to want to shake off a lot of the dead weight. And of course, when these big whales want to fill up their bags full of Bitcoin, they're going to want to get it at the cheapest price. So we can pretty much expect to see more of the same as far as the disappointing. I'd imagine that the overall philosophy of cryptocurrency, well, there's basically multiple sentiments of prediction, and I think what they want overall is for people to think that cryptocurrency is out right before it gets going. And I probably would imagine 2019 is an interesting catalyst for the bull run, the end-all bull runs. But of course, I'm also going to prefix that by saying Right now we're looking at $128 billion space. It's relatively cheap compared to the amount of scalability that cryptocurrency has, which is virtually infinite as you consider what cryptocurrency posits in terms of basically flipping the modern paradigm on its head. I would say Digibyte's a leading contender to be a pretty interesting crypto when we want to talk about blockchain, when we want to talk about speed and all these different things in community. I think that Digibyte's one of those cryptos that's going to be able to stand up the test of time. And I'd very much like to point out that in 2019, 2020, before we see full mass adoption take place, what we're gonna have to go through is what I have termed like the purge of cryptocurrencies, which will take place not only it'll happen, and basically we'll see a lot of these useless altcoins that have been just waiting to get knocked off the space pretty much go into oblivion. They'll go to zero. They'll be delegated to the back of the herd to be forgotten about, and it's not a bad thing, but at the same time it's something that people should be aware of. There's a lot of pump and dumps. There's a lot of basically cryptos that are virtually useless, and I know that people are going to get in the comment section right now and be typing out a comment talking about well, what has Digibyte done in 2018? And I guess that's a valid thing to bring up, but I would basically say I think 2018 has been the year of people actually paying more attention to what these technologies are going to be doing in the real world, whereas up till this point cryptocurrency had a sort of a different mentality and community that's been built around it. So I think at the same time as we see the space mature and we see people asking for more for their cryptocurrencies, I think Digibyte's prepared for this, and I think they're prepared to ride that wave as far as it will take them. When we talk about passwords, we talk about security, it's fundamentally going to be the trademark of our time. Right now, I think that a corporation or even the power of certain nations, and pretty much it doesn't disclude any national body, and nobody is safe from passwords. And I think that Digibyte's fundamentally aware of this, and I think that by positioning themselves in a way where they can sort of fill a gap of where there's a supply and demand, that's one of the fundamental tenets of what keep these things going. I'm excited to see what Digibyte can bring, push forward as far as true decentralization and blockchain and all these different things. And when you compare Digibyte and Bitcoin, it's interesting. It's like if Digibyte was the original Bitcoin, then we wouldn't have even, there's no way that Bitcoin could survive in the position that Digibyte's in right now. If their roles were reversed, the only thing that's basically keeping Digibyte hanging on is the fact that it's has so much going for it. It's the blockchain and all these things, and the fact of the matter is, the truth that a lot of people don't want to face is the cryptos that don't have a blockchain are going to be falling by the wayside as the paradigm shift gets going, and we see certain things developing on multiple aspects of the conversation regarding international regulations and all these things. And I think the fact that Digibyte has its hooks in so many different parts of the world is going to help it fare up against the storm that's most likely to come. It's interesting to see like Bitcoin being ridiculed as the most disastrous investment of 2018. Well, I don't know why people would have such a if you're so salty about seeing Bitcoin, then I guess those type of people could in theory just sell at a loss and essentially deal with it that way. Or if you're a true hodler, then I guess perhaps in a couple of years people will look back, and you don't know until it's over. So if someday, God forbid, I wouldn't say that this is even physically possible, but if Bitcoin went to zero, let's just say hypothetically, then I think that it'd be time to write articles like this. Bitcoin is the most ridiculous, disastrous investment. But what happens when Bitcoin goes to $1 million, when basically there's no more, you can't just get a Bitcoin anymore because they'll all be distributed around the world, which mathematically will happen. The supply of Bitcoin will eventually be completely, it'll be distributed around the world, and there won't be any way to get any Bitcoin. And then people who are holding Bitcoin still from 2018 will have the last laugh. And I think that it's kind of interesting to see, Digibyte as it's been really coming into its own. The Digibyte Twitter community is probably one of the most active, which does say a lot. They're seasoned veterans at work here, the cryptocurrency space. A lot of these altcoins that have recently just popped up over, the past 2 years, I don't think have seniority the same way that Digibyte does. And speaking as somebody who's been paying attention to Digibyte since it was originally, put in front of our faces. Now, whether or not this means that we'll see Digibyte have a good year in 2019, or whether or not, that all depends on the market. It depends on a lot of things that we're going to have to see, unfold and unveiled, in terms of how cryptocurrency is going to be assimilated with the current paradigm and yada yada. But overall, I'm very bullish on what Digibyte can bring to the table, and I think anybody who's paying attention to cryptocurrency from a data analytical perspective can see the possibility that's in store for Digibyte, as far as when these things get going. But now, all that being said, obviously this video is for entertainment, educational purposes only. If you guys are interested, you can follow us on our Twitter. That's at CryptoTuber, and link will be in the description. And obviously, remember, I'm not your dad. This video is for entertainment, educational purposes only. And of course, make sure you guys comment down below and let us know what your opinion is. But I think in 2019 we could see some very interesting things from Digibyte moving forward, in particular Digibyte being ranked in that number 41 position. I think most of the cryptos in the top 100 are pretty safe, but once we get down to the further we go down, the more risk reward, the whole dynamics of volatility and all these things. But now I think that we pointed out some interesting things in this video. It's been pretty constructive to look at these different variables. A lot of things that I think people don't pay attention to, which if they did, then maybe things would make more sense. The space would seem less unpredictable. But of course, it's always an interesting thing to see the cryptos that manage to be in the green, in particular in this market where we're dealing with such volatility and all these different aspects culminating in particular. But I think that crypto sort of gets a bad rep, essentially, when there are so many people who are getting involved with cryptocurrency with such high hopes only a year ago. Now we're essentially dealing with we don't need those people, though. We don't need those high-minded, ambitious people who think that cryptocurrency is a get-rich-quick scheme. I think the people we need are the ones who've been here since day one. If you're watching this and you've been hodling your Digibyte from day one, hats off to you. You're in good company. But yeah, I'm interested to see real use cases. Digibyte is one project that falls under the category of cryptos that will have visible usage in the market. All these things are relevant, and they're going to be things that Digibyte can hang its hat on moving forward, which is something that separates itself from the herd, and ultimately could help it stand out as far as the people's choice when we see new people coming into the space, which is eventually going to be inevitable. Let's face it. But hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Make sure that you subscribe for daily cryptocurrency videos, and I'll see you guys next video. Have a good one.